But let me tell you, not only because he had left, he was in the back of the court and then he went, I think they took up to like a back room, but all the Diddy kids are there, right? So his daughters are there. I was sitting behind them. It was awkward for me to watch them have to listen to all of this. After he started, the male Esther started getting into a lot of the and stuff, they got up and left.
Who told him to leave? Did Diddy say leave or?
No, Diddy didn't tell them to leave. I don't know if there was a conversation or not. I looked up from writing and I saw them get up, so I don't know. But I know that they were like checking on each other throughout. I saw them ask like Christian at one point, like, "You okay?" Because
it's like, damn, how your son look like your best friend?
So by now, you've probably heard about Diddy's daughters walking out of the courtroom, but what you don't know is why. Well, they didn't just get up and leave like they had somewhere better to be. One was trembling, another looked like she was going to throw up, and the third, she didn't even blink. She just stared down, like her whole life had just cracked open. This isn't just some awkward family moment. This is about 3 teenage girls, barely 18, no less, being forced to sit in a courtroom while strangers describe their father in the most graphic, humiliating, and gut-wrenching way possible. We're talking about escort payoffs, freak-offs, assault videos, even a rumor that one of their classmates might have been involved. Y'all, this isn't just messy. It's evil. So let's back it up, and let's walk through what really happened in court that day, and why everyone's whispering that the daughters didn't just walk out because they were embarrassed. They allegedly walked out because something was revealed. Something that hit too close to home. Something that made them question everything. And y'all, this was on day 1. Well, it all started when Cassie entered the courtroom like a phoenix, pregnant and glowing and calm. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, his former muse, and now the prosecution's star witness, didn't flinch, didn't cry, didn't even blink when the cameras flashed. This is the same woman who was allegedly dragged down hotel hallways, beaten in silence, and turned into a puppet for Diddy's twisted fantasies. And now she's standing 10 toes down, belly full of new life, eyes locked on the man who tried to destroy her. But let's not forget, Cassie's the only one testifying under her real name. Everybody else is hiding behind anonymity or sealed documents. But Cassie, she came to talk. And did it. It felt like the whole room just stopped breathing when she talked, when she told her story. The courtroom was packed, lawyers, reporters, even federal agents in the back, all looking like they knew this was about to be historic. And as soon as the judge gave her the go-ahead, Cassie started peeling back the layers of her trauma like it was testimony and therapy in one. She said the freak-offs weren't rumors, they were real, regular, organized, and filmed for blackmail. Diddy would fly her out to Vegas, Turks and Caicos, Miami, and LA, only to trap her in hotel rooms with random men, while he sat in the corner and watched. Sometimes in silence, sometimes touching himself, sometimes giving instructions like he was directing a music video from hell.
To support him, he blew them kisses in court, made gestures across his heart. But once the opening statements began, Combs was much more dispassionate. At one point, as a man who says he was paid to have with Cassie Ventura while Sean Combs sat on the corner. Combs pushed his chair away from the defense table.
And just when he thought it couldn't get darker, she said, "They last days, not hours, you guys. Days."
Just before the break, Cassie testified the longest freak-off she was involved in lasted for 4 days. The freak-offs became a job, she said, noting that other encounters took anywhere from 36 to 48 hours.
And every time she tried to leave, the punishment came fast. A slap, a kick, a broken phone, a shattered mirror. The courtroom fell into a hush so loud, you could hear people's hearts breaking. And Cassie wasn't emotional. She was controlled, like she'd practiced this moment 100 times in her head, and now she was finally letting it out. She told the jury how Diddy allegedly chose her outfits, controlled her music career, decided who she could and could not talk to, and isolated her from anyone who might help. She wasn't just his girlfriend, she was his prisoner. But y'all, the wildest part? Diddy's daughters were right there, sitting in the courtroom, hearing every word. And listen, it didn't take long for these girls to realize this wasn't just about their father being controlling. This was about something far sicker. Because the next witness? was going to blow the whole dang roof off. Now listen, day one wasn't just about Cassie. That courtroom had 2 grenades waiting to go off. And the second one? His name was Daniel Phillip, a male escort with receipts and a trauma to match. When he stepped up to the witness stand, people didn't know what to expect. But what came out of his mouth, Lord have mercy, it wasn't just shocking. It was soul-rattling. According to Daniel, Diddy used to pay him thousands of dollars to perform, while Diddy sat in the room and watched. He allegedly gave instructions, got off while watching, and sometimes even joined in. You could see the courtroom freeze. Some folks were scribbling notes. Others straightened up. Some just stopped writing altogether. One woman in the back reportedly put her head down and didn't look up for the rest of the testimony. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Daniel dropped the baby oil story. Yes, the baby oil. The one that's been whispered about online for years. He confirmed it in graphic and humiliating detail. He said Diddy had rules, how much oil to use, where to apply it, and how to act like it was natural. Sometimes it was 2 full bottles, sometimes half, but always very orchestrated. And then Daniel paused, took a breath, and told the court that, at one point, he was instructed to use it on Cassie, and to keep going, even while she was...
You read that right.
In a courtroom.
I don't know any father that would want their children to sit through testimony about how much their daddy liked to watch people lubricated.
In front of federal prosecutors, a jury, journalists, and Diddy's daughters. It was very disturbing. The judge didn't even cut the mic, just ordered the statement stricken from the record and called for recess on the spot. That's how far it went. And it was right around this exact moment that Chance, Jesse, and Delilah just got up and left. One had her hand clutched to her chest. Another was crying quietly, jacket wrapped around her like a shield. And the third, she looked numb, like she'd just watched her entire childhood shatter on the floor. Now, some folks online said it was brave of them to even show up. Others said it was irresponsible to let them in there at all.
After a freak off, there would be and lots of baby oil.
But here's where it gets even more twisted. Daniel told the court that sometimes Cassie would ask for these acts to happen, but he didn't believe it was real. He said it felt scripted, like she was told to say it. Maybe even threatened. That part hit different, because it suggested that this wasn't just chaos. This was planned. Like, Diddy wasn't just living in madness. He was directing it, like a movie, with Cassie as the lead. And everyone else? Just actors in his sick little fantasy. And once Cassie got back on the stand, it got even worse. She told the jury how she was given drugs, and how her body would shut down from exhaustion and pain. UTIs, throat injuries, tongue swelling. She even said she needed opiates afterward just to recover, not from lovemaking, but from a violation.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard lots of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them, that's what I was. That's all, right?
And still, Diddy made her go back in, like it was her job. He actually literally said the freak-offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else but do them, then try to recover. Not the one the world already saw from 2016, the hotel hallway tape that leaked, the one where Diddy's seen dragging and hitting her.
No.
That was child's play compared to what they played in court. Insiders said the new footage was so explicit, so disturbing, that the jury was visibly shaken. Some looked away. Others shifted in their seats like they couldn't breathe.
For those who like to stupidly comment, well, why didn't she leave? She said she didn't have the resources and she didn't feel safe to do so. In her own words, I understood Sean's capabilities, his access to guns, and the threats that he made prior to that. Later, Diddy not only threatened to have her freak-off tapes released, but that he would harm not only her, but also Kid Cudi, which I'm sure you know he's very capable of doing so. Cassie said he told her that he wouldn't be harming her and Kid Cudi with his own hands, and it would happen when he was out of the country.
And as Cassie watched the footage with them, at first, she held her composure. But as the screen showed her being shoved and dragged, her voice cracked. She had to pause her testimony. You could see her taking deep, steadying breaths, like she'd gone back to that night, like she could feel his grip still. And Diddy? He sat stone-faced, like it wasn't even about him. At one point, Cassie looked right at him, and the whole courtroom tensed. Everyone felt it, that moment where the survivor faces the monster, and the monster has no power left. She said Diddy told her those sessions made her special, that he was sharing her as a privilege. He'd tell her no other woman could handle this kind of love. And she said she believed him, because when she met him, she was a naive teen, and he was 37. He didn't just groom her, he trained her. Cassie admitted she loved him back then, said when he flirted with other women, she got jealous. So when he asked her to do the freak-offs, she thought, maybe if I just give him what he wants, he'll stay faithful. But if you ask me, that's the sickest part of it. This wasn't a woman who wanted the spotlight. This was a woman who just wanted to be loved. And instead, she got broken down and too scared to leave him for over a decade. Interview. And the court really felt it. The jury leaned in, and reporters stopped typing. Even some of Diddy's own supporters in the room looked like they'd just been hit with a truth too heavy to carry. And let's not forget, his daughters were still there. And not just them, his whole family was lined up in that courtroom. Mama Janice sat stone-faced. His sons, Quincy, Justin, and Christian, watched with tight jaws, trying to hold it together while the walls around them crumbled. At this point, no one even knew why. Was it to support him? To hear both sides? To be the family photo Diddy's team needed in court? Whatever the reason, the impact was the same. They weren't just hearing rumors. They were living the proof. Every detail Cassie dropped was another weight crushing the fantasy they grew up with, that their dad was powerful, glamorous, and unstoppable. But the man Cassie described wasn't a mogul. He was a monster. By the end of the day, even the toughest courtroom regulars were shaken. And Diddy's daughters? They'd already walked out twice. But what came next? That's what sent them running again. And this time, it wasn't just the escort's testimony. It was Cassie confirming every horrifying thing he said, and then adding more. She spoke about being dragged by her hair, slapped across the face, and screamed at for not performing right. Then being forced to watch Diddy have sex with other women and sex workers. And that was the moment it all came undone. Insiders say the daughters looked like they couldn't breathe. One had tears rolling down her face. Another kept looking over at her grandma like she was begging for permission to leave. The youngest? She just stood up and walked out, head low, eyes on the floor. Her sisters followed seconds later. And this time, they didn't come back. Twitter lit up like it was New Year's Eve. People were asking, why on earth were they even there in the first place? Why make children? Because let's be honest, that's what they are, sit through this level of trauma. No, they tried to flip the script and ask why did she keep them? Like she was the shady one. Y'all. This girl survived alleged abuse and humiliation and kept those tapes for fun? Instead of protection, Cassie didn't even flinch. She answered every question, even the ones designed to embarrass her. And when they asked why she stayed, she said, I met him when I was young. I didn't know any better. I thought this was love. But love doesn't come with bruises like this. And here's the real kicker. The jury wasn't buying what the defense was selling. The courtroom energy had already shifted. This wasn't just about Cassie's story anymore. Credibility? That was gone. This wasn't about whether Cassie was telling the truth anymore. It was about Diddy's pattern, his control, his lies, his power games. But by the time day one wrapped, it was clear to everyone watching, this man wasn't fighting for innocence. He was fighting for his image. And that image, it was crumbling fast. But here's where it got even darker. Because the tapes, they weren't just about Cassie. They might have confirmed the rumors about Kim Porter's final days. For those who forgot, Kim was Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of his twins, Jesse and Lila. She died suddenly in 2018, officially from lobar pneumonia, at just 47 years old. But folks never really bought it, especially after insiders revealed that Kim was reportedly working on a tell-all memoir right before she died. And guess what? That book? it vanished. Then courtroom chatter got even louder. One of the prosecution's witnesses, Courtney Burgess, a man who claims to possess tapes involving Diddy and 8 celebrities, hinted that Kim tried to expose some of the same things Cassie is now testifying about. But get this, Kim's death is now being compared to Brittany Murphy's, another woman who mysteriously died of pneumonia after reportedly digging into Hollywood's darkest corners. Are the stories connected? That's still unclear. But what is clear? People in that courtroom started putting the puzzle pieces together, and they didn't like the picture it painted.
Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner and the mother to his children, a woman named Kim Porter. Now, what happened was she mysteriously died of pneumonia at the age of 47. Not the typical way that a 47-year-old goes out, especially just when they are about to publish a tell-all book on their very famous ex.
Because if Kim really knew what was going on, she might have died trying to protect her daughters from the same fate. Then the trial got even wilder. Toward the end of the session, rumors started flying.